Hello, sports fans. Welcome on in. It's the Down and Dirty. Scott Mitchell here. I need to turn the lights on because the lights are down low. So here we go. Boom. There we have it. Lights. All right. That means it's time for the Down and Dirty. Welcome to the show today. It's going to be a little short today. I have appointments. I have things I have to do. Okay. I can't just spend all my day with you, but we're going to have a good time while we're doing it. I actually have seen the light. I have eye surgery today. So it's kind of crazy. It's the last surgery I have for my eyeballs. I actually can see. I can read up close, far away. It's amazing. I have Superman X-ray vision now, so I can see right through your clothes, people. So be careful. Be careful that you don't get inside of my vision because I can see. All right, welcome. We've got fun, crazy. We got some NBA stuff going on, and I want to let's just start with this because it's really important to me personally. The new updated tie-breaking situation in the NBA has revealed itself, and I'm just telling you right now, I'm calling it on the show right this very minute. The Utah Jazz are actually going to win the lottery this year. They're going to win. They are going to have the first pick of the draft this year. I'm calling it right now. Okay, so they have this really weird thing going on, and I'm just not smart enough, nor do I really care to explain it to you because all you want to know is who. Really, we just want to know who drafts when, right? That's all we care about. The Utah Jazz have had the suckiest luck in the draft of any franchise ever. They've never actually gone up in the draft from their position. So in fact, if you remember a year ago, they had the worst record in the NBA, and the worst they could pick was five. And guess where they picked five? So this year they had a potentially unprotected pick from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like OKC needs a draft pick, right? Come on. And so if the Jazz finish eight or I don't know, eight or low, then it goes back to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, they had a draft coin toss. Like this is how insane the NBA is. We'll just flip a coin. We'll just decide who wins what. I think they did this a long time ago with I think it was with it might have been Magic Johnson. Anyways, the Utah Jazz had the opportunity to draft Magic Johnson in the NBA draft many, 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 many moons ago. And somehow that pick ended up in Los Angeles. And I can't remember exactly but it was something as crazy as someone flipped a coin kind of thing. And it was a thing. And then somehow Larry Bird got drafted the year before. Like the shenanigans that go on with the NBA draft are just it's bizarre. It's strange. So Utah Jazz, they flip a coin with the Sacramento Kings. Bada bing, bada boom. They preserve their pick, and I think they can pick no less than there's somewhere I think eight is the lowest that they can go. And in the past you go, well, they'll pick eight. But they've picked so low for so long. All that means is the odds are now in their favor. So the Utah Jazz, my beloved Utah Jazz, they will pick. They're going to get the first pick. I'm calling it right here, right now on this show. Okay, the NBA playoffs, of course, are going on right now, and we have the Knicks, the Choka Knicks. Were up by 12 on the Hawks late in the second half, and guess what? They lost by a point. Check this out. Booyah. Ouch. All right, they're slowly coming back. Do we have no sound for this? Is this a no sound situation here? Uh, I guess so. Anyways, so the Knicks are down by 12. They come back late in the game, and it's just so fascinating to me because I think the Knicks are probably one of those teams. The Knicks are probably going to end up winning this series no matter what, but they certainly kind of had a shocker. It's one of those things where all we want to do is come away with a tied series. So 1-1 is a win for the visiting team. That's what everyone says, right? And I just think it's stupid because it's like usually the better teams win. I mean, most of the time, right? Jalen Brunson, boom, he hits a three, ties it up here with just about 3 minutes left to go in the game, and of course, the Hawks pull out the victory late. The other thing I think is just so fascinating to me about the NBA. It's teams like the Detroit Pistons, it's teams like the Phoenix Suns, it's teams like even the Knicks or the Hawks. You know, these teams. Well, the Hawks are interesting because it looked like, wow, the Hawks are really going somewhere with Trey Young, and it just wasn't quite the right fit for everything that was going on for them, and they trade him away, and then and then all of a sudden here they are, they're in the playoffs. Oh, the old Hawks get a steal late, boom, slam, jamma, with 10 seconds left to go, and here we've got a close game, but regardless, the Hawks win this game. CJ McCollum, of course, rallies the team late, and they stun the Knicks, tie up the series. And so for me, it's always watching the NBA. Everyone goes, okay, just if you can split, the opening series, it puts things in your favor. And it does and it doesn't. It all it means is you're just going to the next two games at home. But the same thing can happen there. It usually does. Sometimes it doesn't, and you get in a panic mode because you have this great victory, but you don't follow it up with another victory. And I think the thing that always fascinates me is how when the pressure gets put on sometimes with these teams that are expected to win and they don't win, then and then all of a sudden they get in another game, and it's like, and everyone, there's just this angst that goes on, and it just kind of feeds on itself, and it's like they just can't overcome it. And you see it every year with these teams that are supposed to win, looks like they're going to win, they should win, and then they don't win. And it's just a fascinating psychological part of sports that I love. Okay, we have the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota. I was going to call them Minnesota Vikings, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Of course, this was kind of interesting. Again, yeah, you have. Here we go.
Stops.
Oh, and
Go.
Rudy Gobert. Gobert. Now, Gobert's interesting. We'll just listen to what happened.
Gordon. What a three.
But they're stopping the clock to check if it's a 3 or a 2.
Slugfest. DiVincenzo for 3. Cash!
You knew he was going to shoot that thing.
Like a layup.
Yeah, he shot it like a layup.
4-3 of the night for DiVincenzo. Timely, too. Jokic. They got it. And attack. Got a body.
Jokic said, enough with this jump hook layup. I'm going hard to the rim.
Minnesota 115. Denver 113. Chance of defense from the crowd.
I would put DiVincenzo back in that slot.
Travel.
He did.
Ouch. Wow, they actually called traveling in the NBA.
Why wasn't DiVincenzo lifted?
And it's Jokic and Edwards in a shoving match. Jokic tried to take the ball from Edwards. Edwards didn't want to give it up. Here's what happened. Jokic going to try to take the ball from Edwards. And Edwards wasn't ready to give it up. A little shove there at the end. No text. We play on.
Good joke.
But Austin, you're right. DiVincenzo should be in that slot.
In that slot spot. Can't help.
But McDaniels is a great three-point shooter in the corners.
Correct.
Pocket pass to Jokic. Brown fouls goes underneath.
That's why.
Big free throw for Brown.
And he hasn't had his usual just dominant performance. He's found ways. And listen, Nicola's the greatest player on the planet. We know that. But Rudy Gobert has been phenomenal these 2 games.
McDaniels to work it in. Got it into Randall.
Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Julius Randle.
3-point
Wolves have
lead.
made their last 6 free throws. They lead by 3.
You don't have to have a 3. You can go quick.
Murray. That's the long 2. No good. Battle for the board. DiVincenzo has it. Up to Randall. 5 seconds. DiVincenzo with the exclamation point. Murray the heave. Off the mark. Minnesota.
All right, Brickin late.
sucker.
I love that. One of the great things about this game, even though Jokic had that dunk on Gobert, and they even alluded to it in this game that they didn't quite have the night that he normally has on a typical situation. And they called traveling in the NBA, which is an amazing thing. I mean, it's really an absolutely amazing part of this game that they actually called traveling. And it kind of was. He went, he made a football move without actually dribbling the basketball. He was not able to do 2 things at the same time: dribble and actually step. So he did a lot of stepping, less dribbling. Anyways, that was a shocker. That was a clutch win there. And you put the ball in Murray's hands, you put the ball in Jokic's hands late in the game, and they can't deliver. And of course, big shots by the Timberwolves late, and that's a good thing. And you see Ant, of course, he's going to draw double, triple teams, but they had answers, and it was nice. Gobert is a challenge. I think in any situation, just because he's not an offensive threat per se, and you get him out from underneath the basket, and it's a challenging thing. So good for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I still believe they're a team that's going to make some noise in the playoffs, and you can't count out Denver. A lot of great stuff going on in the West. You've got you've got the Spurs, you've got OKC, you've got these 2 teams playing well. And don't forget about the old LA Lakers, which here in the state of Utah, we try to forget. Hey, can we bring Martin on for a minute? I just want to get Martin's take on something in case I missed anything that was of great significance and value about the NBA basketball game. So, Martin, what's your take on these 2 games that happened last night?
One, the New York Knicks should change their name. I liked what you called them at the beginning. The New York, what was it? The Chokers, did you say at the beginning of the show?
Chokeaholics.
Chokeaholics? I think the New York Chokeaholics is what they should be named, because these guys just they don't hang on to leads. I watched that game yesterday. They went up not only once, but twice, but 3 times in that game, Scott. They went up by double digits, and they still lost by 1. The Knicks are just not – they're not the same conference finals team as they were last season. With the Denver-Minnesota game, I had that game on early, Scott, and it was 44-28 Denver's lead. And I was like, okay, we'll wrap this one up. This is over. This is almost a 20-point lead. Goodbye. Good night. You got to give it to Anthony Edwards and his ability with Julius Randle and with Rudy Gobert to will that team to a win over the Denver Nuggets last night. We all know the Denver Nuggets are a very tall, lengthy, physical, going to beat you up type team. You're not going to get something easy. And they slugged out a win last night. Jamal Murray, I don't know what he's doing. Go for the shot. Go for the layup. Put the game in a position to where you can win it. Instead, he kind of froze, and that's the first time I've ever seen Jamal Murray freeze. I've never seen that in an NBA playoff series by him. And so, I takeaways I took from last night, I agree with you. I still think the Knicks will win that series, but I think that's going to go 7 games between Atlanta and New York, and I just think Minnesota has figured out Denver, and I think Minnesota can pull off this upset first-round matchup. I think the Denver Nuggets, as a 3-seed, are going to go home after the first round.
Oh, yeah. All right, love it. And we had a traveling call. We can't forget that. We had a traveling call in an NBA game.
Yes, we did.
The world is it's like centering itself. All the out of balance that we've had is being centered and a big time. So good for the NBA officials for calling traveling. We're gonna take a break. We got a lot of NFL news of note stuff. We got some fun things to talk about in those news of notes. Of course, we do that every day because the NFL is the religion of our country. And I say that with not a lot of pride, just so you know, but it is. And we'll talk about it. So stick around. More to come here on the Down and Dirty after just a few moments.
Hey, it's Matt Mosley of The Matt Mosley Show. We want you to watch our show every day, 1 to 3 on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And you get to see big name guests like Gary Patterson, Art Briles, Scott Drew, Doug McNamee, major Cowboys insiders, ESPN legends like Sal Palantonio. When news breaks on Cowboys or Baylor or NFL, we want you to look here first. 1 to 3 weekdays. It's the Matt Mosley Show.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Hey, it's Zach Gelb. We're talking NFL and college football. Plus, we have some of the biggest interviews in sports media. You got to check out the Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports, weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 to 3 p.m. Central. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/@Zach Gelb Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty. So glad you could join us today. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff because that's what we do. Right now, we have NFL News of Notes, which is something we do every day on the show because the NFL is the king of the mountain. It's the queen. It's the joker. It's the jack. It's the 10. It's the 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 ace. It's the whole freaking deck of cards. That's what the NFL is, and it just kills everything. And you know, that's about the time that the empire crumbles is when you're just you're absolutely killing everyone. So, all right, we've got some very interesting stuff. Of course, Fernando Mendoza came out earlier and just said, look, the draft and all that stuff and blah 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 blah. And I'm not going, and I don't think he wanted to really get into the nuts and bolts of it. But the main reason clearly is the health issues with his mom, and it's difficult to travel, and it's hard to do all those things. And he just said, this is what's more important to me. And he said, I truly want to just celebrate this with all of the people that mean something to me, coaches, teammates, family, the whole situation. And when mama speaks, everybody listens, and mom says, no, we're not going to go. So they didn't go, and that's totally fine. And I think it's awesome. The draft is coming up in a couple of days, and it changes the fortunes of everyone. Of course, Fernando Mendoza, he goes, it's really cool to think that Tom Brady might be my boss. Now, there was an article that came out and said, Tom Brady's basically going to be in the building every day. Do you really think Tom Brady is going to be in the Raiders building every day? I don't think so. For some reason, there's just a part of me that says, I don't really think that Tom Brady is going to be hanging out with Mark Davis in Las Vegas. I could be wrong on this. Knowing Tom Brady, he's kind of all in on things he does. He's been very unconventional in his his time in the NFL worked very well for him. He kind of went to a different drum as he was as a player. And, I don't think anyone could argue with it ever. I think a lot of people wanted to. I think a lot of people felt like, Tom Brady was like, he's just gonna, it's just not gonna keep happening, and it just happened and it kept happening for over 20 years. And it was just one of the great sports story. It is the greatest sports story, in my opinion, ever. And so here you have Fernando Mendoza, and boy, I would love to be Fernando Mendoza, and I'd love to just be able to have the access to Tom Brady and pick his brain, because there is a lot of similarity there between these two kind of types of player. I just look at Fernando Mendoza and I see Bernie Kosar. Not how Bernie was very unorthodox in his throwing motion. It looked labored, but man, I just see Bernie Kosar there. And Bernie had, very good career, very intelligent player, smart player, had a lot of success at Cleveland and then didn't. But man, he was so good. And so Fernando Mendoza, boy, it's a story I just can't get over. I can't get past. I don't want to get past it, quite frankly. I really hope he turns out to be this great player in the NFL. And again, he's starting kind of on his terms, and he's just like, I know that's what they want. They want to hype up the draft. They want to hype up the first pick of the draft. But I'm not going to make it any bigger than it is, and I'm going to celebrate this with the people I love. Speaking of NFL players, I ran across this article, and I can never get over this. I just can't. I can't get over so this article came out. I don't even know where it's from. It's actually on ESPN. So ESPN came out with an article about the highest paid players at every position. So I thought it's like to just kind of give you an idea of budgeting, budgeting concerns for an NFL team, right? Because we got to budget this for the quarterback, this for the running back, this for the offensive line, this for blah, blah, blah. So here we go. And I want to point this out. This is something that's just, I don't know, kind of fun. So Dak Prescott per year is the highest paid player really in the NFL. But he's so for quarterback, Dak Prescott, 61 million point six 61.6 million dollars. That's Dak Prescott. It's so freaking big I couldn't say it. Now, what's interesting about this is Josh Allen. Now, him as another quarterback. Josh Allen, guaranteed money. Josh Allen makes he's going to be guaranteed $250 million. Okay. So I always like to start, I do a little math problem, and I like to start my little math problem. And so here it goes. So Josh Allen, $250 million. Now we cut that in half. So no matter what, unless he just retires, and he's gonna get all that money. He's just gonna get it. So $250 million. You cut it in half. And you say, why do you cut it in half? You cut it in half because of the Mr. Taxman. So you have the jock tax, you have the federal tax, state income tax, probably have some tax in Buffalo because they got to do the chicken wings, and someone's got to pay for the chicken wings in Buffalo. So Josh Allen, half of that. That's the reality. That's the painful reality. But it's not like the worst thing in the world to have, because he still has $125 million left over. Okay, so Josh Allen he's guaranteed this. Like, that's what guaranteed money means. Like, it's guaranteed. Like, he's going to get it, right? So after taxes, after Buffalo wing, local taxes, all that stuff, Josh Allen walks away with $125 million. This is why all of the pretty actresses date these guys now. Just so you know, it's called for what it is here, and good for them. That's fine. Oh well. But Josh Allen, $125 million. So if you invested $125 million, you did nothing with it other than put it in like a tax-free municipal bond, which is completely safe. And the interest that you're going to make at 4.5%, you can find a tax-free municipal bond, 4.5%, maybe 5%. So I went with 4.5%. He has $5.6 million of interest every year that he gets. So his living expense, he could just live off the interest. He'd never touch his $125 million. He lives off the interest. Is $5.6 million. Now, let's break it down to a monthly budget. Okay. So per month, Josh Allen is living off of $467,000 a month, right? So so I started to think about, okay, what could he do with $467,000? Well, let me tell you, this is what he could do. Now, he could buy a $250,000 Lamborghini a month. Just buy a month. So he goes a year and he says, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy Lamborghinis. This year I'm buying a Lamborghini a month. And so I don't know if there's 12 different types of Lamborghinis or whatever, but he could get different colors, he could get different styles, he could get all this different stuff. And he still has over $210,000 a month for his living expenses. So, like his clothing allowance, his food, you got to pay for his utilities, insurance. Maybe he has a house payment, maybe he doesn't. Either way, he's got $210,000 to kind of work out living arrangements. Maybe he has to have a big storage facility to house all of his vehicles. But he literally could buy a Lamborghini a month and still have plenty. And this is just off the interest on this money that he's making. So what he does, and this is what I would do, because any smart, logical person's going to do this. The first year I'm buying Lamborghinis, right? And so then the next year, I think I'm going to go to Maseratis. I'm going to buy a Maserati a month for a year. So wouldn't that be a fun collection to have? The kids today are collecting stamps. Maybe they're collecting football cards or baseball cards. Maybe it's Pokemon cards. But when you're in the status of the highest guaranteed money player in the NFL, you're collecting expensive cars. So the next year, let's just go with, he's got Lamborghinis, he's got Maseratis. What's next? Why don't we go with Rolls Royces? I mean, Robert Kraft has 5 or 6. Maybe he has 8 Rolls Royces. Why not 12? Get 12 Rolls Royces a year, or a year, one per month. And then maybe you go to muscle cars and you just keep doing this. You could do it. You could do it indefinitely with all of these cars. Wouldn't that be a fun thing to do? And it's crazy and it's insane. And it does absolutely nothing to your bank account. Like your $125 million, it just sits there. It just doesn't go away. Wow. Wouldn't that be fun? Anyways, I kind of started blowing my mind when I was thinking about this. Now everyone talks about Deshaun Watson and his $230 million contract. I mean, Deshaun would have to live on a little bit tighter budget, because he's only going to be $115 million, so he only might be $5 million a month. Anyway, so it's a tough thing. Okay, in the running back situation, Saquon Barkley, $20 million a month, and of course his guaranteed money is $36 million. Wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigma, has he not played himself into $42 million a year, and of course $120 million in guaranteed money? Insane. Tight end Trey McBride. Yes, Trey McBride is at $19 million. TJ Hawkinson is at $42 million guaranteed. Offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil, $31 million a year. Of course, Rashawn Slater is at the total guaranteed money at $92 million. Trey Smith, $23 million. Trey Smith is also Tyler Linderbaum is the highest paid center at $27 million. The highest paid cornerback is Trent McDuffie at $31 million, $100 million guaranteed to Trent. Safety is Kyle Hamilton at $26 million. Will Anderson, of course, signed the highest per year average at $50 million. And of course, Aiden Hutchinson with the Detroit Lions, $141 million. Defensive tackle Chris Jones. We Weak side linebacker Nick Bonito, $26 million. Brandon Aubrey is $7 million as a kicker. And the long snapper, hey, hold your seat here, $1.7 million. Punters make $4.2 million, if you're wondering. Fascinating it was just a fascinating story to me. I just got really wrapped up in the guaranteed money for the quarterbacks, but clearly no one comes close to quarterbacks as far as salary, 61 million. But defensive ends, which we talked about on the show yesterday, are coming close. And so that is by the way the NFL wants to pay out money, they're saying defensive ends are going to get paid in the NFL. Offensive tackles are going to get paid, and wide receivers, which I think was quite an interesting selection, because wide receivers, I don't think in the past, tight ends actually have a big impact on what happens as far as what moves the needle. I just found that to be so fascinating. Okay, Justin Jefferson. I believe we have a clip of Justin Jefferson, and he's kind of talking about I think J.J. McCarthy's future is in question with the Minnesota Vikings. Here's what Justin Jefferson had to say.
JJ, for somebody to enter that room with that type of ability, that type of talent, he's got to step it up a little bit. So it's good for him to, feel that type of pressure and to really, lock in a little bit and say it's either now or, I'm going to take that backseat again. So it's all a competitive mindset when it comes to these type of things. So it's all about who's ready for that moment and who's ready to step up and take that initiative.
JJ ain't taking a back seat. He's taking a plane ticket somewhere else if he doesn't up his game. It's a tough situation, I think. It's not a tough situation. I was going to say, I was originally going to say, it's a tough situation to be a teammate. You got someone there. You're the wide receiver. Look, you don't care. I mean, really, that's the position you have. I mean, I think he's trying to be a little diplomatic in this situation, but the reality is, you don't care. You're just interested in who's throwing me the ball, and can you throw the ball, and can we win? And if you heard what Justin said, it's like Kyler Murray has the ability to make some crazy plays, probably some plays that J.J. McCarthy isn't. I don't know what plays J.J. McCarthy actually can make. I just think he's really new and young and fresh in this whole situation. And man, it's just so tough. It's so tough to really kind of sink in and settle in, but it's also a level of like patience with an organization. Here's the thing with me and JJ McCarthy. I don't think they've given him enough time. And I don't think that because he's been injured. And so there really is a process. A lot of people talk about you got to hit 10,000 balls. You got to shoot 10,000 shots to really become competent at something. And it's the same thing. And so, when you're playing quarterbacks, you've got to be able to take those reps and take those snaps and do it in a game so that your swing is reading defenses and throwing a football in the right place and understanding situations and how to handle them and and situations are like, where do you throw the ball when the receiver or the tight end or whomever is covered in this fashion? Where is the soft spot in a defense in all the different looks you're going to have? How do you discern what those looks are? That there's a pre-snap look and then there's a snap look, and they're different, and being able to identify what those are. And then what do you do with it, right? And how do you move in the pocket, and how, there's all these different things. And the only way to get competent at it is to get those reps. And JJ McCarthy's development has been hampered. He hasn't had those reps. So yeah, they're trying to bring people in, and maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. But everyone wonders, like, well, how come some guys go off and a decent number of them who actually get real opportunities tend to succeed because they're now getting to those 10,000 hours, those 10,000 swings moments. And so maybe this might be a situation where it's a little bit early, a little bit premature on the evaluation of JJ McCarthy. Only time will tell, because I personally don't think that Kyler Murray is a long-term solution for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, maybe Kevin O'Connell goes, man, I love that guy. I think he can do some things, and I can have some fun with that. Who knows? And maybe part of it is Kyler Murray is a great quarterback, a great answer for not a very good offensive line. Because it's like there's that escapability. And so maybe it's like Kevin O'Connell goes, yeah, I'm not sure about our offensive line, but we got Kyler Murray, and he's the great eraser. He's that pencil that has an eraser that fixes the mistakes. And the mistakes are offensive linemen just whiffing on guys, and their guy doesn't make it work. So always a mess, always going to be interesting. And Kevin O'Connell is such an interesting study, just period, because he's a guy who has really had some pretty significant success with a lot of different guys. And has, you think of Kirk Cousins, you think of Sam Darnold, you just kind of go through the list there, and so, but he hasn't kind of, it's been regular season success. What takes them to that next level, and where do they go from where they are? Okay, moving on. Fred Warner. Fred Warner is fully healthy and back after a season-ending injury a year ago. Fred Warner is one of the top players in the NFL. Fred Warner has just been like a defense was just made for him, and he just has excelled and accelerated in his time as a linebacker for the 49ers. And the 49ers, to me, have just been doing an exceptional job. And it was it's I thought they kind of had their window, and as soon as Brock Purdy got paid, it was like, and now and Brock Purdy, I think, has elevated his game. They were right in the thick of things. They're in a tough division. It's so hard to really. It's hard just in general, but to be in a division where you have the Rams, you have the Seahawks, you have the 49ers, where you got, I mean, these are the teams that are like contenders to go to the Super Bowl. And you got to play, each of them twice. And it's tough. And it's tough, and it's good in the same situation. So really, for all of these teams, I think in the NFC West, to have success. And then you look at Arizona and you just go, hey, really sorry for you there, pal. But you're just not, and who knows, maybe Arizona is a better team, but you just don't know it. They're not clearly at that level, but that's tough. And the fact that Fred Warner's back is going to make the 49ers even better. And you just, in my mind, I just go, this is a team that's probably going to be in the mix when this all happens. So there you have it. Okay, this is an interesting story. And there's a lot of NFL executives, and this is, of course, according to Adam Scheffler, as reported in Bleacher Report, that players that have entered the draft who are older, it's actually hurting their chances in the NFL, and it's hurting their market value. It's not actually helping them. Now, and so much of it, it's like you think of some of these, and I don't know that I totally agree with this. Well, I mean, because you could argue and say, look, it's a young man's game. It's these younger players. It's getting in. It's developing in the NFL, and I think you might be right for the most part. It's and I think what the challenge is when you have let's just say you have a 21-year-old and he comes in the draft, uber talented, not a lot of experience. And you go, oh, like, just take, some of these young quarterbacks who come in the NFL and they just, they're uber talented. They've got very little experience and they just don't pan out. Right. Anthony Richardson, of course, with the Colts comes to mind. And in my head, I'm like, that dude should have stayed in college. But the argument is that they, okay, you stay a couple of years and I don't know that players stay for NIL money. I mean, maybe they do, if you're a quarterback and you're going to get paid, $5 million a year to be in college, and you can do that for 2 or 3 years, That's money that you have today, and there are no guarantees in the NFL. I mean, you have a guy like Quinn Ewers, that stuck around for a lot longer, and what the challenge is they have more tape on you, and they look at you like your junior year or you've been in year, and then they look, is there a progression? Because a lot of players, they hit their peak in college, and like another player that comes to mind is like a Zach Wilson, right? And where did Zach Wilson, maybe his peak was when he was in college, or was it really a peak because it was a weird year? It was a COVID year, and he didn't really get, he didn't really play anybody, and he only played for a year. But my contention is, I think that from a quarterback position, I think it's better to stink. I really do. I think it's better to gain a little bit more experience. Joe Burrow, after his junior year, I don't think was totally ready for the NFL, and he came back and just exploded and had a phenomenal year. One of the, I think, the best years of anyone in college football. And then he had this, this Heisman year, and I really think it propelled him in the draft. And you look earlier in his career, he's going to a Super Bowl. And I believe that it's that game experience. I'm just telling you that 10,000 reps you have, where you have a guy like Anthony Richardson that barely plays in a really, not a great offense when he's in college. All he's doing is running around, which aren't reps, by the way. And so he just isn't quite as ready. I just feel like, yeah, maybe these guys, maybe they should get more. Maybe they should. I don't know, but I just really think that it's it's not necessarily all players. I just think it's maybe players that maybe positionally that they could, because quarterback is just, there's so much involved in quarterback than any other position. It really is. But anyways, interesting article, interesting take on NIL money. So basically, to sum that all up, you're probably right. It is a young man's game getting in the NFL for most of these players, these uber talented players. Yeah, 100%. But for some of them, like the quarterback position, it might be better to hang out. So we're gonna take a break. But when we come back, we've got another fun game for the kids to play at home. So you don't want to miss this. So much more when the Down and Dirty returns briefly.
Hi, my name is Mike Lacey. I'm with Beyond the Game, a new podcast to the Rogue Media Network. Just when you thought you'd had a little bit too much about BYU, here we are to provide you even a little bit more. I, as part of the BYU group, am grateful that we're part of the Big 12 and really grateful that we're part of the Rogue Media Network. Thank you.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. The luxury and confidence of premium clad stainless steel meets Scratch Defense Extreme Non-Stick that won't scratch, ever. With an ultra-thick aluminum core for high-performance heating. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance of clad stainless steel. Scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Are you looking for top-shelf sports talk about the West Virginia Mountaineers, where you can get objective analysis, but with the passion of a fan? Well, look no further than right here at Couz's Corner. I am Justin Couz Walker, the host of Couz's Corner, and you can find my show on demand over at YouTube. Most shows are uploaded by 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also check out my live post-game reaction shows. My special guest interviews, you can find it all on YouTube at Couz's Corner. Go check it out.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. Down and Dirty, Scott Mitchell here. I brought in my trusted assistant and game show moderator. He is the new Pat Sajak, Alex Trebek, all wound up in one. It's Martin Kelly. Well, of course, we're going to play a game, and that means you can play it at home with us. It's Gold Star time. Martin always comes up with some great games. I have no idea what this game is. Martin will explain the game to us. You play along, and hopefully you can get a gold star and be a happy camper today on a Tuesday. All right, take it away, Martin. What you got?
Yeah, so this is our third edition of Cut One from NFL history. We did this with some players and some coaches the last couple of times, and let's just say Scott had a little bit of a challenge on the last time we played this game. He had to cut some legends from the NFL history world. So let's see if he has the guts to do it again this time, okay? Like he says, everyone gets to go home with a gold star. Whoever you pick, that is the correct answer. All right, Scott, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. This is
all right. Let's do this. We're gonna do NFL coaches editions. Okay. All right, group one. You have to cut one from all coaches. All 4 groups are coaches. Okay.
All right.
So you got to pick out of one of the 4. All right, to cut from NFL history. Okay.
All right.
All right. So group 1 is Bill Parcells, Tom Coughlin, Mike Holmgren, or John Gruden.
John Gruden. Knock on wood if you're with me, John Gruden. All right. Parcells is like, I don't care what anyone does, they cannot take this moment away from you. I think that's one of the more famous lines from him. Coughlin was a disciple of Parcells. So if you look at these 4 coaches, they're all related to either Bill Walsh or Bill Parcells. So Coughlin is a Parcell disciple. Holmgren and of course Holmgren hatched John Gruden, and Holmgren was hatched out of Bill Walsh. If you want to know the history, the genealogical tree that all of these coaches came from. Parcells I think is okay. You want me to give you an honest answer about all these guys? Parcells, sure. I think is overrated. I think Parcells became bigger than what he was because he was with the Giants. Now he won a couple of Super Bowls, but
2 of them.
Yeah, he did, and he won one of them because the freaking kicker kicked it wide right, and the other one, all right, I'll give him that Super Bowl, but he did win it, but he didn't really have a lot of success after that time. He went to the Jets, he's with the Patriots, he was the Cowboys, so it didn't continue with him later on. Coughlin won a Super Bowl with the Giants. Was a great coach with the Jaguars, did a phenomenal job with the Jaguars. Was a tyrant, was tough to deal with, but kind of softened later in his career. He's pretty good. Holmgren won. Did Holmgren win a Super Bowl? He won 1, went to 3, I think, and went with another organization. I think he was part of what elevated the Seahawks to a different era. Gruden certainly won a Super Bowl. Gruden's not everyone's cup of tea. None of these guys are everyone's cup of tea. This might be to me the hardest one. Okay, you got to have Parcells. So Parcells is staying, and I think Holmgren stays because these 2 coaches spawn these other coaches, right? So you can't the master does not get overtaken from the student. You're not going to take the grasshopper from my hand. I'm probably gonna go with I'm gonna keep Gruden just because I think his entertainment value is just Coughlin's dry and he's a good coach. None of these guys are bad coaches at all, but he's kind of dry. So I'm going with wet. I'm going with Gruden. He's entertaining. So Coughlin is gonna get cut. He's out. Coughlin's gone. Bye.
All right, Tom Coughlin. No more Coughlin time there. All right.
Go away.
It's about Lombardi time, not Coughlin time. All right, Scott. Let's see how you do with group number 2 here. Group number 2 is Joe Gibbs, Tom Flores,
Gibbs is
Jimmy Johnson, or Brian Billick.
This is about the easiest one you've ever given me. This isn't even. I don't even know if we have to have a discussion about this. But here's what's fast. Okay, so Joe Gibbs is staying. Like there's no, like, Joe Gibbs was phenomenal with the Redskins. Won with multiple different quarterbacks. won at different times, won in different ways. Joe freaking Gibbs and what they had going on with the Redskins when he was there, phenomenal. Tom Flores did some great things with the Raiders. Only I believe he was the only coach. They won 2 Super Bowls with Tom Flores, and the hair. I mean, look at the hair. That is something. And speaking of hair, you've got Jimmy Johnson. Of course, he won multiple Super Bowls. But I don't even know why we're having this discussion. I'll just say, well, I'm going to say, so Brian Billick, I played for Brian, and Brian was supposed to be this offensive guru and genius and all this stuff, and that was all hype. Like, worst offense I was in, most frustrating situation I think I was ever in as a player. I really believe he won in spite of himself, and he won with a defense. And a lot of coaches I know far better offensive minds and gurus than he was purported to be. He's out. Bye-bye, gone. See you later. Did you do that on purpose, by the way?
No, I did not.
Look at that smile on his face. It's like, get Billick out of there. That's not even.
No, I did not. Okay, no,
and Billick won a Super Bowl, but
yeah,
well.
he did.
Yep.
All right, let's see how you do with Group 3 here. Okay, Group 3 is actually a specific group. These are all coaches that have only won 1 Super Bowl in their career. Okay, so Group 3 is Mike Ditka, Mike McCarthy, Sean Payton, or Bill Cowher.
So you're gonna hate me on this one. Well, so Ditka was just he was a persona, right? You can't get rid of Ditka.
Yeah,
is Ditka coaching? McCarthy won a Super Bowl in Green Bay. Hasn't necessarily had success since then. Sean Payton won, and I mean, if you want to talk about who won the greatest Super Bowl, it's Sean Payton with in New Orleans. And I loved him onside kick to open the second half. Like, that takes some kahunas. And he had some and it's like, hey, we're here to play this. Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher was a great coach. So to me, it's between Cowher and McCarthy. I'm probably gonna bump McCarthy, I think.
Okay, Mike McCarthy. I might
say that Ditka might be the worst of these 4 coaches. because everyone says they won with Buddy Ryan, and it was the only year that they were really phenomenal. I mean, they went to the playoffs and championship games, but had the 1 Super Bowl, and it's the only Super Bowl in Chicago. But Ditka's he's just a persona. He's just a personality with the NFL. He just is. He's just that's what he is. So I just can't. And I think, yeah, McCarthy's out for me.
Was it? I gotta ask you this question because obviously we're talking about Mike Ditka.
And I know you're happy about this, by the way.
Oh,
anytime the Packers get pushed, you're happy.
Absolutely. Was it easy to play against the Bears? Like, was it actually easy to play against their defense, or did they actually give you a challenge sometimes?
We killed the Bears every time we played them. The play-by-play guy for the Bears still plays this thing, and I've had him. We should get him on the show. Actually, do you need to get the play-by-play guy?
I am trying. Yeah.
Okay, you got to get him on the show because he plays this thing and he goes. Mitchell back to pass again, and why not? Right. And so it's him. So he's making this call and he goes, yeah, Mitchell's back to pass again, and why not? And it's against the Bears, and he's like he just torched us all the time. And it's, and it's like, why not throw the ball again against the Bears? So and he uses that in his calls even today, that little take. And he goes, yeah, the Bears did not put any fear into us at all. When I was with them.
So. Okay, I like that. All right, Scott. I think Group 4 is going to be the hardest group for you. Period. Okay. All right. This is the Legends group. This is the top dogs. Okay, we got Bill Belichick, Vince Lombardi, Bill Walsh, or Andy Reid. I told you this is the top guns.
This is and I have to cut one because I'm going to say I'm not.
You have to cut one.
It's just like I lose the game today because I'm not cutting them. There's like I won't get a go. I will take it on the chin today. I will not get a gold star.
You gotta pick one.
I will. Well, Belichick won a bazillion Super Bowls. Okay,
he did.
There's just there's no way. Lombardi, they have the freaking trophy named after Lombardi. I mean, you know, you can't take that away. And Bill Walsh is like legendary. Like, if there's no Bill Walsh, there's no Andy Reid. And so really, and I can't even believe I even have to say this, because I just think he's been a phenomenal coach. I would have loved to have played for any one of these coaches, but it's probably Andy Reid. You know, even though he's had an incredible career, like these other coaches, there's just, I mean, that's probably 3 of the 4 you'd put on Mount Rushmore. And I don't know who number 4 is. You know, maybe it's Shula, maybe it's, you know, just because he won more games than anyone. But those 3, that's your Mount Rushmore of NFL coaches. And you know, and I just can't believe it, because Andy has been so good. He's so great in Philadelphia. You know, he's won 3 Super Bowl. But no, it's not. No, it's Andy Reid. Andy Reid's got to go bye-bye.
All right, Scott. That's a tough choice there, and that's why we made it that tough. But I would actually have to agree with you on that one too. Yeah, so Andy Reid's going to be the one that's cut.
Love it. All right, we're going to go bye-bye now too. So thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a great Tuesday. Thanks, Martin. Thanks, Zach. All you people out there in the wonderful world of sports, have a great day. This has been the Down and Dirty. Scott Mitchell. Until then, we'll see you then.